I wanted to point out one of the things the mayor said at the start was that the beaches here have been awarded the best beaches in Italy 2016, and we're about 600 metres away if you look for the left from the start.
Yes, it's pretty sandy underfoot here, although there's more bit of grass in there as you see the start list for the under-20 men. Well, this is a very interesting race, I think. We do have last year's silver medalist from France, Fabienne Palko. But otherwise, I'd say this is a very open race. What's your thoughts on who we should be looking out for?
Well, I think I'd love to see the French do well again, as they did last time. I spoke to Palko yesterday, and I asked him, because he came through from 13th to 2nd on the last lap, did he think he could have won if he'd run a bit more differently? He said no, he was quite pleased. It was very important for the team to win in France on that day.
Well, for my money, this might be the first race which we see a medal go to the home nation Italy. We've got Johannes Cipanelli in there, 5th last year in this event. Part of an Italian team that got the silver medals in the team event in the under-20 category last year. At the very end of there, we can see two very, very promising athletes indeed. Elvin Bibich, who was the top European youth over 3,000 metres, under 18, was a confident winner in Tbilisi, saw him really run away with the race there. And also Jakob Ingebrigtsen, the youngest man at these championships, but part of a very, very famous Norwegian running family. As we scan across the competitors here, 87 runners from 23 countries, just a shade more than in the under-20 women's race. Cipanelli there at the front. Alongside him at the front there, well, we can see Palko, Gressier, who we also mentioned, from a very good French team that won the team title last year.
And he was 4th individually last year with his trademark baseball cap.
And Alex Yee, who's World Duathlon Champion, that's running and cycling. World Junior Duathlon Champion.
Romania, Denmark and Switzerland, the other teams now.
Well, Switzerland sending a team here. Well, they've seen one of their compatriots run very well in the junior race. There's Ingebrigtsen and Bibich. Well, individual entries from Serbia and Norway. So they get the slightly dubious privilege of being in one of the outside echelons. There you can see Estonia up on the Baltic, Slovakia. Well, Slovakia will be hosting next year's SPAR European Cross Country Championships in Samarin.
That was Elvin Bibich from Serbia.
Well, last year it was France, Italy, Great Britain who took the medals in that order in the under-20 men's race. I have a feeling it's going to pan out, at least in that respect, fairly similar this time around. I see those as the three strong teams in this race.
Well, one of the exciting things about junior races is that we don't really know how good some of these athletes are going to be, and they don't know either. And so this is where we find out.
Yes, it was a big surprise 2 years ago when Yamani Bahan Kripa came through to win the junior title. Of course, he defended that successfully last year. Kripa, we've been talking about a little bit, and we'll see him not too long in the under-23 men's, as the gun is about to go on the first men's race of the day. Well, this race is over 6,150 metres. So just straight into 4 long laps, and then the start and the finish straight. Well, the Spaniards showing they've got all 6 of their runners in the top 20 there, 20 to 30. Very easy to spot the Spaniards with the red and gold strip there. perhaps the best of the Spaniards is Adrian Ben, as we see Jakob Ingebrigtsen go to the fore there. Well, just 16 years of age. His brother Henrik won the under-23 title a few years ago. Also, Philip Ingebrigtsen won the European title in Amsterdam over 1,500 metres this year. So a very fine family. In fact, some of them actually say he's the best prospect of lot. Well, we'll see.
And as my colleague Paolo already said, the last
I will
year
have to check back, but I'm fairly sure no 16-year-old has ever won the under-20 race. Certainly not the men's. We know Steph Twell won at 16 in the women's race, but I don't think a 16-year-old has won the men's race.
only 16 years old. Some runners are 3 years older than him, and he's leading the race.
Chipinelli up there as well. That's Osama Ifraj from Spain, on the recent San Sebastian cross country. Attack from Turkey, but there we see, well, Jordi Torrents, 2016 World Junior finalist over 1,500 metres. And Adrian Ben, possibly the strongest, at least on previous form, of the Spanish team. So, and outside, one of the Belgian runners there. A narrow part of the course this. Hasn't provided any difficulty so far, but, well, once we get to the senior races, let's see whether that narrow part of the course causes any problems. Well, we've got...
We also see Spanish runners there, Osama Ifraj and Jordi Torrents.
Just a repeat there of going over this back-to-back artificial hill. Camel's Hump.
You were able to see now how the runners are coping with the hills.
And there's Alex Yee, who had a very fine track season as well.
Chapinelli is there, the home runner, and also Alexander Yee from Great Britain.
Well, Ingebrigtsen may only be 16, but he has run times above that on the track already this year. 3:42, 1,500 metres, and a World Junior finalist. So he's already proved himself in this sort of company. And I did wonder if he might sort of sit back, because I'm fairly sure he'll have a fast finish like his brothers. But he's running from the front.
Over 6,000 metres, you also want to get clear. You want to avoid any problems in terms of getting spiked or getting clipped or anything like that. So perhaps a wise tactic. I can remember in the frozen wasteland of a field outside Budapest when Henrik Ingebrigtsen won the under-23 race, and he did it in fairly similar fashion. Of course, conditions very, very different here. You're saying it's probably around 16, 17 degrees Celsius here.
And this is the biggest field of the day, 87.
Last time as under-20 runner, he's aiming for podium position on the home.
Well, up there we can see Atak from Turkey. Don't really know very much about him. One of the lesser known of the Turkish runners, comes through having had some good performances in domestic races. And Omer Otti. So the Turks at this stage have a couple of men up there showing well. See Atak out on the right-hand side of your screen. Oh, there's a faller. I'm just trying to identify who that is. I think that's Alex Yee who's gone down there. As we look there at the leaders, Otti, Chapinelli, Atak, Torrens. I think it is Yee. Yes, it is. He got a push in the back there from the Turk. Well, that'll require some examination after the event. And then not helping things, got trampled on by people behind him. Well, that's a shame there, because Yee was certainly somebody we were looking at as a potential medalist. Well, they've still got time to recover in this race.
Chapinelli now, also the Turkish runner.
Well, that's disappointing. But he's got about 12, 13 minutes of running.
Third time at European Cross Country Championships, was 51st last year.
So up at the front now, leading the way is Chapinelli from Italy.
France, Great Britain, that is still close. Romania 5th.
Also having moved up well, O'Leary from Ireland, as you can see there, running in second place at the moment with Otti. Spain leading the way in the team standings. 4 men in the top 10 at the moment, and a 5th not far behind.
Well, poor Alex Yee was in about first place or so, wasn't he, when he fell. And when he went through the lap marker, which was only a few metres later, he was in 42nd place. So that's how many people came past him in that short space of time.
Well, he stumbled and then got a push in the back from Otti as he went down and was trying to regain his balance, got another push in the back from somebody else. Anyway, Ciapinelli now. Ciapinelli also very fine runner on the roads, was 5th in the World Junior Championship steeplechase as well. So good pedigree. Now Jack O'Leary from Ireland, the Irish junior champion a few weeks ago, showing well.
Ciapinelli, O'Leary, Torres from Spain, Otti, Turkey, Ingebrigtsen still there, Bibich from Serbia.
So we're looking at Italy, Ireland, Spain, Turkey, Norway, Spain. That's the top 6 by nation. Also up there, just moving up, the very, very tall figure in 7th place now, Elvin Bibich, the 16-year-old, I think he's turned 17, 17-year-old European under-18 3,000-metre champion. And one of the very few European teenagers who was able to take on the Africans at distance running. Ciapinelli, one of the other ones, as I say, finishing 5th in the World Junior Steeplechase. So Ciapinelli now really starting to force the pace at the front, feeling confident. We can see around the course, getting plenty of applause and a few cheers from the local supporters.
And I wonder if he had any advice from Yumani Crippa, who won the junior race for Italy for the 2 years previously. He won in this sort of manner, didn't he? Breaking away in mid-race.
He did. I do know that they are friends and occasional training partners. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was a few words of wisdom being passed between them. But at the moment, well, there's a palpable burst here, surge from Ciapinelli. Last year's European Junior Steeplechase champion as well. Jack O'Leary hanging on in there, looking good at the front. This one of the French team has moved through very successfully. And that looks like Mohamed from Britain has moved up as well. So 3 kilometres past now. Just about the halfway stage in the race. Ciapinelli, Gressier, who was 4th last year, O'Leary, Torrance up there. Oh, Paulus Surafel. Ingebrigtsen still up there, the early leader. Otti, Mohamed, yes, saw him move up as well. So the British have done very well in running very steadily over the first couple of kilometres and have moved up well in this last kilometre. Well, I think Italy may have just drifted out of the team standings, though.
On the big screen, you can see now the standings after 2.
Yes, they're in 4th place according to the provisional standings. Quite a big gap between the 3rd, Great Britain, 44 points, and 4th, Italy, on 9. And I'm pleased to say that Alex Yee moved up to 14th place.
Yes, there we see the team standings confirmed. France, Spain, Great Britain, Italy just drifting back out of the medals here. Well, we're going to hear the bell very shortly for the final 1,500 metres long lap. We'll be able to give you some sort of comparisons, but I think Ciapinelli has really kicked in over that course of that last lap, and you can see there the gap starting to be established between himself and that chasing group of 6 runners battling for the rest of the medals. About 7 runners in there, 2 British, 2 French, 2 Spaniards. Bibich just slipping back. Well, Alex Yee has recovered phenomenally after that tumble. He's now up into about 12th or 13th place.
The problem for him, that while he was doing that, obviously, Ciapinelli was making his move. And you're right, the first lap, including the start, 4:27. The second lap, where he broke away, 4:11. So let's see what the clock stops at when he goes through the bell. Will it be under 4 minutes or near to 4 minutes?
Well, Paolo Surafel chasing there in second place at the moment. He's moved up on the edge of the top 10.
Ciapinelli leading, but Mohammed
Well, Surafel,
now chasing him very bravely.
And it's Mohammed who was second to Alex Chia in the British trials,
yes, you're absolutely
who was
right.
closing the gap.
Yes, there's a physical similarity between him and Surafel, but you're absolutely right. It is Mohammed, and he's doing very well at closing the gap. Looking very strong indeed is Mohammed at the moment. And I have to say, well, Ciapinelli, he's just glanced over his shoulder there. You can see the threat from Mohammed. Well, slightly untidy running style there from Mohammed, but he's looking very relaxed as well. Well, it's only a metre or two in it now. Mohammed has actually done extremely well at closing this gap. Ingebrigtsen now up into third, and then the two Frenchmen, alongside Jack O'Leary from Ireland, who was showing to the fall. So the medals at the moment: Italy, Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and Norway.
So of course there is some experience there for the British runner.
There's Yi. Well, he's continuing to move up.
They are now
Doesn't have a lot of time left, has about 5 minutes left of running.
Ciapinelli and Mohammed.
And I think these two know each other quite well, because Ciapinelli was 22nd last year in the junior race, and Mohammed was just 2 places behind him.
Yes, they'd probably recognise each other. Slight change in circumstances, 12 months on. But Ingebrigtsen's also closing up on them. Ingebrigtsen's made a great effort to get up on the shoulder of Mohammed over the course of the last 200 or 300 metres. There you go.
Coming into the last lap.
The leading trio,
3 runners fighting for 3 medals.
just separated by a couple of metres
For them.
as they hear the bell. Little over 1,500 metres to go.
4:13, so Ciapinelli didn't quite maintain that pace that he had in the second full lap.
Well, Gressier and El Bouagigi, 4th and 5th at the moment. O'Leary, Surafel in 7th for Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Well, still 1,500 metres of running. The medals aren't decided yet. It's not down to these 3.
For the last lap, Ciapinelli, Mohammed, Ingebrigtsen.
Well, I think they're actually just slowed down here. They're obviously preparing themselves for a sprint finish. The danger, of course, is that may just allow one of the chasers to get back up with them, but it's a fairly significant gap between the leading trio and the men behind them, the 2 Frenchmen.
And it's coming down to the wire, Phil, in the team race, Britain and France on 35 points, as we'll see there. And Spain just 4 points behind, so that all can change on the last lap.
Yes. Italy looking as though they're out of it now. But looking as though they've got a very, very good chance of an individual medal. Well, Ciapinelli now surging again. Ingebrigtsen looks very, very calm. Now it's Mohammed just looking a little bit tired.
Between France and Great Britain, both teams.
It's not a relaxed running style of Mohammed's, but it's very effective. And behind them,
Spain 40, Italy.
the 2 Frenchmen, Gressier and El Bouagigi, and Jack O'Leary from Ireland. And that's Surafels, followed by 3 Spaniards. That completes the top 10. Well, as we get ready for what I'm expecting to be will be a tremendous last 500 or 600 metres, let me just give a shout out here to the sponsors: SPAR, La Gruyere, Omega and Eurovision, European Athletics International Partners, and a big thank you to them. Well, a little bit of a stumble there from O'Leary, but it doesn't derail him. Well, now it's Ingebrigtsen.
The Norwegian boy, the youngest of the competitors.
Just looking down the course now.
Of the home runner Ciapinelli. And I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that Norway never in the history of this championship won a
you could hear, I just let the infield announcer let you know that Norway has never won a junior men's gold medal, an under-20 men's gold medal, as it's now known. Of course, his brother did win the under-23 title a few years ago in Budapest. And Caroline Bjorky-Grovdal has taken junior titles in the past, and she's running in the senior race a little bit later. Well, you can also see a big grin on the European Athletics president, Sven-Arne Hansen, who's sitting just in front of us. For many years was the Norwegian Federation president. O'Leary now trying to get into fourth place and shake off the two French runners, Gressier and El Boujalili. So now Ingebrigtsen starting to really throw down the gauntlet. Well, suddenly in the space of 100 meters or so, a big gap. And now Ingebrigtsen is entering the finishing straight. He can see the finish line in front of him now. Behind him, it's looking like a battle for silver between Chapinelli and Mohammed. So Ingebrigtsen about 100 meters to go now. Behind him, Chapinelli just getting clear for the silver medal. Mohammed looking now very tired. But the under-20 men's gold medal goes to Norway. The youngest competitor in this race, Jakob Ingebrigtsen, shows he's got wise old shoulders and a fantastic talent. Well, just over 6 kilometers of running, 17 minutes and 6 seconds, 8 seconds between him and Johannes Chapinelli, with bronze going to Mohammed from Great Britain. But the French look very good for the team title here. They're packing very well. We'll bring you up to date with that. Well, Ingebrigtsen out on his feet there. Chapinelli, well, 5th last year, 2nd this year, and the home nation's first medal. Saint-Marie Farage there, where we saw him up with the leaders at the outset, but slipping back a little bit as we see the rest of the 87 runners in this under-20 men's race come through the line. Well, Attack as well, we saw him up at, he's suffered over the last 2 kilometers of that race. Chapinelli, well, he got the cheers all around the course, deserves a big smile.
And it looks as if France have retained their team title. Jimmy Gressier was 4th last year, is 4th again, and it was him and El Bouaji at the finish that went past O'Leary, which helped that total. We're waiting to see whether it's Spain or Britain in 2nd place.
Yes, I think it's Italy just a little bit too far out of it, so the other medals going to Spain and Great Britain, Northern Ireland. We can't tell you at the moment which way round it's going to be. Ingebrigtsen, what a talent this man is. As I say, I mean, without going through the stats in detail, I think he may well be the youngest ever winner in this category. 16 years of age. As I said, the youngest man in this race.
And he ran it the hard way, didn't he? He didn't leave it for a sprint, which I'm sure he's capable of. And you know, perhaps his brothers have done too many times before.
Well, that's just the 4th gold medal to ever go to Norway at these championships.
Henrik Ingebrigtsen, as you said, and Grovdal also won a team gold in the under-23 race in men's in 2011. It also means 3 brothers in the same family have been or are European champions.
That may well also be a unique accolade. Obviously across different age categories and at different events, but certainly an unusual accolade, and it may well be unique. There we see the 2nd gold medal here at the 2016 SPAR European Cross Country Championships in Chia goes to Henrik Ingebrigtsen.
He literally run himself into the ground.
Yes. metaphorically and literally.
I think it shows it is quite a tough testing course.
Only surprise for me is, as we see there with France having got the team title, we never saw very much of the man who we were talking about, last year's silver medalist, Fabian Palko. Never really featured at the sharp end of the race.
Just
Well, you can see how quickly we're turning around the races here. We're getting ready now for the under-20 women's race. 2 races down, 4 to come. Under 23 women's race, I should say, scheduled to get underway in about 10 minutes time, as we see just the highlights of the under 20 men's. Well, the early stage of the race, and Ingebrigtsen went straight to the front. Well, next year, of course, we see the introduction of a mixed relay at these championships. And it'll be fascinating to see, hopefully, 2 of the Ingebrigtsen brothers and possibly Carolina Björkli-Grovdal running in that. I don't know whether that'll actually come to pass, but certainly it would be a great opportunity for Norway perhaps to get another gold medal. Here we see Alex Chia at the front here in the early stage of the race. I'm sure we're going to see that tumble, which brought an end to his medal chances. Help me out here, Mark. Yi, where did he finish in the end?
I think he was about 11th, but he always lost about 40 places there. And when you consider Britain lost the silver medal, there he goes. That's a really nasty fall. It lost about 20 places from the first fall, and another 20 with the second fall, unfortunately. But luckily, he didn't seem to lose a chew or anything like that. I hope there's no harm done.
Yeah. Well, as I say, it was a stumble at the outset, and there we could see on the highlights getting shoved down again a second time.
When it happened to Mo Farah at the Olympics, nobody seemed to notice, and he was able to get back without, with any problem. But that wasn't the case here.
Well, I think the difference is that just as he was trying to regain his feet, he got shoved in the back again and ended up face down in the turf. Anyway.
And also, as they're running at that point, they're facing the big screen, so the guys in ahead would have seen exactly what happened.
Yes, I'm not too sure that would have necessarily have come into Ciappinelli's thinking at that point, because that was a point where he surged, and as you can see here with the middle stage of the race here, where Ciappinelli had quite a considerable lead, he had a few other people to worry about at that stage in the race. Well, it won't make any difference to the team standings. Theoretically, there could be a protest, but the people who are shoving Yi eventually finish behind him, so it won't make any difference to the team standings if there were to be protests. Well, these are the closing stages of what was a terrific race, especially at the front between the 3 eventual medalists. Jakob Ingebrigtsen, Johannes Ciappinelli and Mohamed. And there you see it. Well, we just moved away from Ingebrigtsen getting his gold, just to look at Ciappinelli. And all around Sardinia, you'll see a few of those turrets. They were to watch out for invaders, as we see there the results. Jakob Ingebrigtsen covering 6,150 meters in 17 minutes and 6 seconds. Well, Ciappinelli taking the silver and Mohamed the bronze, as we look down the rest of the finishers there. Alex Yi, who we talked about a lot, eventually finishing in 11th place. Oh, Fabian Palko, yes, 36th place. Bit of a change there from the silver medal last year. Sam Stevens from Britain, perhaps expecting a little bit more from him. Eventually in 50th place. As we run down. There we go, 85 finishers. 2 men didn't complete the course. As confirmed the team standings, France with 26 points take the gold and defend their title. Spain 42 points, there's 1 point in it. Great Britain, Northern Ireland 43 points take the bronze,